Master Father McBride, Miles Finch, or from one of his appearances in 30 Rack Nip Tuck or Entourage. His reputation is preceded by the complex, often serious, other times laugh-out-loud, funny characters that he so convincingly portrays. But there's another lesser-known reputation that precedes Peter tonight, one that is particularly relevant to the then new college president who presided over his days here. While I won't go into detail, let's just say I have a particular appreciation for Peter's success as Tyrion Lannister in Game of Thrones. Irreverent, to put it mildly and politely, less than enamored of authority, unbounded energy, fearless, smart as hell, much like the Peter I used to know. When you open up last month's Rolling Stone, the story on Peter, in fact, the headline reads, "How Peter Dinklage Conquered Game of Thrones Simply by Being Himself."
Yeah.
And that, as an actor, is Peter's gift. The depth of his own character breathing life into those he plays. And he's played a lot of them. Since studying drama at Bennington, of course the high point in his career, but we understand that. Peter has been acting professionally for nearly 2 decades on stage, on television, and in more than 30 films. His list of credits could be longer too, but early on in his career, even when struggling to make ends meet, Peter decided that he would turn down roles that were demeaning of his size. No elves, no leprechauns, no tired cliches. Moral rectitude eventually paid off when he was cast as Father Finbar McBride in his critically acclaimed 2003 independent film, The Station Agent. The first movie to feature a dwarf in the lead role. For his breakout performance, Peter earned Independent Spirit and Screen Actors Guild Award nominations for Best Actor. If The Station Agent was his launching pad, you could say that Peter's career is somewhere in the stratosphere right now. Forbes.com recently announced a new movie that Peter will star in with a headline that read, "Game of Thrones star Peter Dinklage cast in Angriest Man in Brooklyn." That's got to be one to tell. The article goes on to mention a few of the other apparently less headline-grabbing names who will also appear in the film. You may have heard of a few of them: Robin Williams, Mila Kunis, and James Earl Jones. To return once more to the Rolling Stones article, citing his beautiful new baby, happy marriage, house in the mountains, and the whole triumph against the odds thing that his career has become, the author writes simply, "It's good to be Peter Dinklage these days." I'll echo that understatement by saying, on behalf of the entire Bennington community, it's even best to have him back.
Yeah.
Please join me in welcoming Peter.
when a Bennington student, 10 minutes before you come up to the podium, hands you a mace. That he made. If you don't bring it to the podium with you, you'll never be Bennington. So I would like to thank you, Ben, for helping me put the fear of God in the audience. But I have to put it down because I'm an actor and I'm really weak. That was heavy. It wasn't like a prop. That shit was real. Thank you. So now I'm going to read. And I'm not off book. Sorry, I might be looking down a lot. Thank you, President Coleman. Bryan Conover. Faculty, students, family, alumni, some of whom are dear friends of mine, who have traveled all the way from the big city to see me hopefully not humiliate myself tonight. And especially thanks to you, the graduating class of 2012. As a joke, I wrote "hold for applause," and I was actually going to read that, so you kind of killed my joke. Let's do that again. 2012, hold for applause. 2012. Wow. I never thought I'd see 2012. I thought perhaps the Mayan calendar would prove correct. And the end of the world would have been the greatest excuse to get me out of this terrifying task of delivering the commencement speech. But wait, according to the Mayan calendar here, when does the world end? December 2012. Damn. Okay, maybe I shouldn't talk to the graduates eager to start the new lives about the end of the world. Okay. Really? Of all the novelists, teachers, playwrights, poets, groundbreaking visual artists, and pioneers of science, you got the TV actor. Heard you petition for me. Oh, you fool. You know what? For those of you who didn't petition for me, I would love to later on talk about the problems in the Middle East and the downfall of the world economy. And for those of you who did petition for me, I don't have any signed DVDs of the Game of Thrones. But I'm happy to talk about the parallel lineages of the Targaryens and the Lannisters later at the bar. You see, it took all of my strength, and of course a little extra push from my wife, Erica, for me to agree to do this. Because I don't do this. In my profession, I am told by people who know what they're doing, where to stand, how to look, and most importantly, what to say. But you've got me. only me. My words, unedited, and as you will see, quite embarrassing. Okay, let me think. I'm thinking. But I didn't read that. That was evident. Let me think. What has everyone and their uncle told me as I desperately seek out advice on how to give a commencement address? Tell them what they want to hear. Talk about your time at Bennington. Know that there is no wrong speech. I like that. Just keep it brief. That was my father-in-law. Be brutally honest. Tell them how hard it is after you graduate. We'll get back to that one. Just watch Meryl Streep's commencement speech at Barnard and you'll be fine. What did Beckett say? I can't go on. I'll go on. So even if I don't burn in your hearts and minds long after this speech is over, even if I don't inspire you to reach for the stars and beyond, even if I am erased from your memory after one glass of wine tonight, where am I going with this? I can't go on. I'll go on. You know, I won't speak of my time here like some old fisherman. You have already had your time here. You have your own story to tell. But I have to say, for me, it did start here, in Vermont, on a very rainy night. It was 1987. And I was a prospective student. The rain was coming down so hard, it was impossible to see that I was meeting the person who would later become my greatest friend and collaborator. A freshman who would, 17 years later, introduce me to the woman that became my wife. I'll call him Sherm. Because I did. It was late at night, on the road right there near Boo's house, and despite the dark night and the heavy rain, this place was so alive. The lights pulsed from each of the dorms. Now, I was a kid from New Jersey who went to an all-boys Catholic high school. I was 4 foot something. I mumbled when I spoke. I wore a sort of woman's black velvet cape. Black tights. Combat boots and a scowl. But here at Bennington, I was home. And I have to say, it doesn't get better. Well, let me clarify. There are not shinier, more important people out there. Your fellow students, your friends, sitting around you are as good as it gets.
Yeah.
22 years after my own graduation, I have worked with my rainy night friend and fellow graduate, Sherm, on countless productions he has written, in all stages of development, from living rooms to off-Broadway. Brooks, Ian, Justin, Brett, John, Matthew, Jim, Sean, Hyla, Nikki, and the Bee are all classmates I shared my time with here and still work with, and am lucky to call my friends.